Hey guys, happy Sunday. I was just relaxing today and I saw this article and it got me really mad. And I figured, let me read it together with you all because this is out of hand. Did you know that domestic violence homicides are actually on the rise this year? Ugh. And so we're talking about the Alicia Watts case in particular, but this is a bigger problem. So this is an article here from ABC 11, and they've been covering a lot of the Alicia Watts case because they're in North Carolina. It says your safety is paramount. Dating safety concerns rise following death of Alicia Watts. And I've been covering this now for a couple of weeks, her disappearance, and then sadly we found out that her remains were found on Thursday, and they've arrested her boyfriend, James Dunmore. And many people in my comments are saying things like, it's not worth it being with a man who's, overly emotional or who's violent or who's like all the different things. And, it's a really important conversation. Many of my viewers or my audience, including myself, have been in toxic relationships. And I think this is a much bigger conversation. So let's continue. Moore County, there's been an increase in domestic violence related homicides this year, according to advocates, and sadly, 39-year-old Alicia Watts is now among that number. Investigators said it was her then boyfriend, 51-year-old James Dunmore, who killed her. He was never listed as a suspect by police, but always a point of suspicion by her family and friends, as detailed in a 911 call after her disappearance. And if you haven't listened to that 911 call, I'll go ahead and link a video right here. And so he wasn't, they didn't go so far as to call him a suspect. And I think that might have been done strategically, but they did say that there was importance, or I don't remember exact words, but they said it was important to speak to him, but they didn't go ahead and list him as either a person of interest or a suspect. This is just not her. This is kind of strange. It frightens me because I know that she's just started talking to this guy, said the 911 caller. And also, the 911 caller happened to be her cousin, and her cousin is a neighbor in the neighborhood of where James Dunmore, the boyfriend, lives. So it was through her cousin. It was through Alicia's cousin that they met, which I imagine she must be just feeling devastated by that. So that guy is Dunmore. His records outline a violent past. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison on felony assault and battery charges on a family member and kidnapping back in 2002 in Virginia. Dunmore was also convicted of assault in North Carolina in 2006. Oh, but it gets better. Documents obtained by ABC 11 allege Dunmore physically assaulted and abducted another woman in the Charlotte area in March of this year. The complaint lists allegations of prior acts of violence, including choking, punching, and verbal attacks. It can feel jarring to think you know someone, but find out new information, right? And to find out that they could do the most harmful things, said Nisha Williams, who serves as the legal director of the North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence. A letter from Alicia Watts' sister, Tammy Utley, earlier this month questioned whether Alicia had found out about Dunmore's past. She wrote, "Your lies and the deceit have a funny way of catching up with you, and just when the veil had been removed from my sister's eyes, she started to see the real you." Studies have shown that lethality or risk of homicide drastically increases in abusive relationships when actually that person is leaving the relationship. And the reason that is because that is the time in which the abuser is at the least have the least amount of control, right? So before, during, and after leaving a relationship. So it's the act of leaving the relationship. I've covered another case with the Timothy Bleefnick, who was on Family Feud, and he made a snarky reply about the biggest regret he had at his wedding was saying "I do," and it was not supposed to be a funny answer, but then within the year he separated from his wife, and then eventually was convicted earlier this year of killing her. So she was leaving they were estranged. She was leaving the relationship. So, it's definitely, that is a very, very crucial time. Have your support system in place. It's so unfortunate that, we might get into toxic relationships and that we have to fear getting out of that relationship. She's encouraging women to find ways to protect themselves while dating. Williams suggests a background check and turns out it's free at your county courthouse at the public service kiosks. Oh, that's cool. The red flags you might be looking for on a criminal background check would be things like a violation of a domestic violence protective order. That might be a red flag, or having a charge of an assault or an assault on a female. Think to yourself, I wonder what's behind that. And that may lead to more information, but definitely safety is paramount. To find out how to obtain a criminal background check, visit the NC Court's website. So actually, let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, so there is on the North Carolina Judicial Branch criminal background check, certified background check, single county for yourself or others by clerk of Superior Court office. So the note there that it said that that it's free to do it at the kiosk, that probably applies to North Carolina. But if you live in another state or if you live in another country, you can definitely look at what resources you have. And if at nothing else, if you're getting serious with somebody, why not pay a little bit, even, 20, 30, $40 to do a background check? And I always say this, and I'll say this at the end of this video, make sure that you trust your intuition, trust your gut. I'm not saying, paranoia and like, just don't date anybody, don't leave your house. No, that doesn't make sense. And that doesn't serve you either. But if something feels funny, trust it. Ask questions. Ask around. Do a little more digging. Do a little bit more searching, right? And certainly, it doesn't hurt to try to do a background check. Maybe the person, you might find out some really interesting information. Like maybe they have a different name or they've been married before, So it's interesting and important that that even in tragedy, that we can find learning lessons in, to help support ourselves and our loved ones as well. So tomorrow I'll be covering James Dunmore is going to court for the first appearance. So I'll be covering that. And I'll make sure to drop a link here once, either if I'm doing that as a live or as a replay, I'll drop a link here in the comments in this video. And if you learned something today, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I welcome you to join the Empowering Family. We're a group of people that want to be the voice for the voiceless, missing persons, other survivors, and really just, helping those who don't have a voice. And with that, stay safe, stay thriving, trust your intuition. Remember to trust that gut and make sure to keep it empowering. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.